John always had the smile. It was his greatest tool, his best friend, his sharpest weapon. He learned its power early. He grew up with nothing, just a small, cold apartment, the sound of his parents fighting about money, always money, the lack of it. He saw how desperation twisted them. It made them small and ugly. John promised himself he would never be like that. He would have money. He would have control. He would never be desperate. The smile was his ticket out. He practiced it in the mirror, a little tilt of the head, a crinkle by the eyes. It looked genuine. It looked like trust. He started small, selling candy bars for a school fundraiser. He sold more than anyone. He didn't just ask people to buy, he told them a story about a sick friend who needed this, a little lie, a harmless one, he told himself. Then it was cheap kitchen gadgets at a flea market. He could make a potato peeler sound like a miracle. He could make a family believe this plastic trinket would change their lives. He loved the feeling. The moment their eyes lit up, the moment they handed over their money. It wasn't about the gadget, it was about the win. It was about proving he could do it. He was in control. His charm was a key. It unlocked doors. It opened wallets. He moved to the city, a sprawling maze of concrete and glass. So many people, so many opportunities. He got a job selling high-end investment opportunities, vague, complicated packages that promised the world. He targeted the lonely, the elderly, people who wanted a friend. He would become that friend. He would listen to their stories. He would remember their grandchildren's names. He would build a bridge of trust, brick by brick. A bridge that only went one way, straight to their savings accounts. The city was his stage. The bustling downtown streets were where he looked normal. Just another man in a suit heading to another meeting. He was invisible in the crowd, but his real work happened in quiet places, small, neat living rooms, quiet suburban homes, dimly lit coffee shops where a whispered promise felt like a secret between friends. He made them feel special, seen. He wasn't just selling them a product, he was selling them a dream of security, a dream of a better life, a dream he had no intention of delivering. It was just a performance. And well, he was the star. Mr. Henderson was his latest project. A retired teacher, a widower. He had a modest pension, a house that was paid for. He was lonely. He was perfect. John spent weeks with him. They had lunch. They talked about baseball. John listened to stories about Henderson's late wife, nodding with practiced sympathy. He never rushed. Patience was part of the game. He was planting a seed of friendship, a seed of trust. Finally, the day came. He laid out the papers on the polished dining room table.
"This is it, David. This is your future, safe and secure."
The lie tasted like sugar. But Mr. Henderson hesitated. He had spoken to his son. His son was a lawyer. The son had questions. Alarm bells rang in John's head. This was not part of the plan. Control was slipping. The friendly smile on John's face tightened just a fraction.
"A lawyer? They always see problems, it's their job. But I'm your friend, David. I'm looking out for you."
He pushed the pen closer. Henderson looked from the papers to John's face. He saw the smile. But for the first time he saw something else behind it. Something cold. Something hungry.
I need to think.
The friendly mask dropped. The room suddenly felt smaller, colder.
"There's nothing to think about."
His voice was different now. Flat, hard. The charm was gone, replaced by a chilling intensity. He stood up, towering over the older man. The small dining room became a cage. The city lights outside seemed a million miles away.
"You signed a preliminary agreement last week. You are committed."
It was another lie, but it sounded like a threat. Mr. Henderson's heart pounded. This wasn't a friend. This was a predator. He had let a predator into his home. He tried to stand, to ask John to leave. That was his mistake. John moved quickly. He didn't want a scene. He didn't want the son getting more involved. Desperation, the very thing he hated, flared inside him. He couldn't lose this. He couldn't be weak. He grabbed the heavy glass paperweight from the table, a gift from Henderson's students. John didn't think, he just acted. Detective Lisa Navarro stood in David Henderson's dining room. The place smelled of bleach and something coppery. The crime scene was too clean, too tidy. It screamed staged. They were calling it a robbery gone wrong, a fall, but Navarro didn't buy it. She had a sixth sense for this stuff, a gut feeling that had been honed by years on the force. This wasn't random. This was personal. She looked at the victim's photo on the mantelpiece, a kind-faced man with gentle eyes. Who would want to hurt him? Why? She knew the answer was always the same. Greed, love, revenge, usually greed. Navarro had her own reasons for hunting monsters like this. Her own father had been a victim, not of violence, but of a smooth-talking con man who had stolen his retirement savings. She remembered the shame in her father's eyes, the way he seemed to shrink, defeated. He was never the same again. The con man was never caught. So every time a case like this landed on her desk, it was personal. She wasn't just a cop, she was an avenger for the silent victims, for the people whose trust had been turned into a weapon against them. She would not let Henderson become just another cold case file. She started digging. She talked to Henderson's son. He mentioned a new friend, an investment advisor named John. The name was common, fake probably, but he gave a description. Charming, well-dressed, a smile that could sell sand in a desert. The son also mentioned the name of the company, Future-Proof Investments. Navarro ran the name. It didn't exist. It was a ghost, a shell, but it was a start, a thread to pull. She and her partner, Detective Miller, started canvassing financial firms, showing John's description. It was slow, it was tedious, but Navarro was relentless. She was a bulldog. Meanwhile, John was laying low. He read the news report. Tragic accident. Good. He felt a flicker of something. Was it guilt? No. It was annoyance. A messy complication. He had to be more careful. He changed his name. His look. He traded the sharp suit for a casual jacket.